Hey guys, another little Alchemy tutorial. I used it here to do a little riser. Look, it's not the most incredible riser ever, but it's the principle of it that you can work further on this and make it deeper, but like this basically. And the riser is here being done by Alchemy, but there's a snare fill and another bits and bobs with it. Etc. Right? Shot. And if we just listen to what Alchemy's doing, it's doing this. There we go. Here it comes. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, let's start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start. So originally this was my loop, just a little loop thing I made just to have something to do this with. Okay, so what we're going to want to do here is we want to isolate that last bit there from this chord hit that you can just see, that chord hit there. So we want that final hit, put this to division, want that final hit there, which also includes that note you can see in this region there, and the note you can see in that region there, and that one, and that one. And then the drums, I don't want the drums carrying on, so I'll back that loop off so we just get the hi-hat there. So that is what's going to play based on that loop cycle. Right, now what we're going to do is extend this out a couple of bars. Let's say 2 bars will be enough. Now only the stuff from the start of this cycle range will play. If we bounce that down, it'll from Logic's master out here, bounce, it will bounce down everything every track that's open and only what's inside the cycle range. So it'll bounce that hit down and the decay of that hit. So let's do that. Bounce PCM, and we're going to add to project, right, just as it is there. Boom. And I'll call it riser hit 3 because I've done a few of these messing about. Boom, and it's added to my project now. Shot, it'll be in my project media there. There it is, riser hit 3. Bring that in and stick it on an audio track like that. We'll get this. It's just an audio repeat of everything that was happening with that hit there, bounced down to stereo. Okay, now this we can load into Alchemy. Shot, I've got me Alchemy there, I think that's Alchemy. I've got a note ready for it. There's a snare fill here and a note. Let's bring this in. Right. So forget the snare fill for a minute. You can make your own snare fill, but there's a single note here that's going to trigger Alchemy, right? And then we want to load that audio region into Alchemy. So here's my Alchemy. And what we do is let's make it bigger. File, initialize preset. We're starting from scratch. And in global view, we just see the one active oscillator with a basic sawtooth wave in, everything set vanilla. If we look at that oscillator in detail, we just see its saw waveform. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you're in global or in looking at the oscillator in detail. We can go to the oscillator slot where it says saw here or in this view and import audio. So we're going to get our riser from here. Well, I'm calling it a riser. It's just what we're getting here is that audio hit there, right? That audio hit, right? We're loading that in. So let's mute that for now. Yeah, where were we? Yeah, so go to the oscillator, import audio, drag that hit in, select it, there it is. Now when you go to load the audio, this defaults to spectral format. You can put it to sampler. That has to be highlighted, import, boom, there it is. And now go to the detail of the oscillator, there's the waveform. I'm playing it from the keyboard and the default pitch is on D. D1, not C, don't know why that is. With Alchemy, but usually samplers drop it on C by default, don't they? But there you go. Anyway, there it is. So what we want to do is get it so that there's the single note triggering it. Let's just, and that needs to trigger. So it goes duh. No, not there. Let me hear the snare fill. No, and it should come right after that. So da 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 la, la. Or is it right on the money? Yeah, that's it. So da 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 da. So these quarters keep going. That hit becomes the first quarter of these snare hits. Da 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 da, like that, and that's where that sample will be triggered. So let me just mute the snare fill. So we listen to it being triggered by the note. It's being triggered again, right? Let's solo it. Okay. Let me mute all these so we just hear that. Okay, so we're going to make this do a riser. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is set this loop mode to start length. It can be start end. Start length. Now start, we're going to raise that up a little bit, and the length, raise that up a bit. This can be adjusted afterwards, right? So both at about 17 or whatever %. Now with the start, with it highlighted, we see it here, position A it's called, in the modulation thing. And we're going to assign it to the sequencer. We don't need to make a new sequencer. The sequencer isn't being used in this patch, so just assign it to sequencer 1, the currently available sequencer. Like that. And then the length, which is speed, position, and speed, we'll assign that to the same sequencer. Okay, now the sequencer is in 16ths, and I need to just bring this out so I've got a bit of extras to work with, because this sequence needs to be as long as your note. So if we bring it out so we got whatever amount, and if I make, this is in 16ths, so if I start off by making these quarters like that, let's hear that first. Oh. Okay, now we need some depth, so start, roll the depth back, length, roll the depth back. Like that. Okay, so we can do da da, and then we'll go into like 8ths or whatever. And there's a little thing. Now, if this waveform is shorter, then this length thing will move forward and start going brrr around there. In which case, you just raise that right up and increase the depth for that. Okay, this is quite a long region. Look at the length of it. It's just over 2 bars. But if you're using a shorter piece of audio, then you're going to have to raise this length up, otherwise it'll get to the end and start cycling, going der 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 like that. So just mess with the length. Okay, next thing, we want to rise up the pitch. So coarse, there it is, tuning for the coarse tuner. Assign that to not envelope 1, because that's our amp envelope. Make a new envelope. There it is, and bring the attack right up. That needs to be as long as the note, because you need this to rise the pitch up to a peak at the end of the length of the note. So this isn't in bars. I think it's in, I don't know if that's seconds. Give it some depth, positive depth, I think it'll be. Like that. There you go. Bing bang bong. In ensemble. And there you go. Yeah. Now, if you look at the end where this ends, it ends at 34, and that's based on the length of your note that's doing the rise. Right. So you bring the sequencer out, put your steps in, reducing it down to whatever, and then you play it and see where it ends. I don't need anything above 34, so I can bring this into 35 like that, and that'll be enough for the sequence to play all the way through to the end of that note. There you go. Bring it one. If we bring in the additive here, we can bring in partials. Look. Put that up. So set the partials here to also to the envelope. Envelope 2, the same envelope that's rising up the pitch, and that will rise up the amount of partials if I give it depth like that. Other way around. Oh, come on, what's going wrong here? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? It should be, yeah. Why is it starting at the top? This ain't right. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? It should rise those partials up, not start at the very top. Yeah, but if I change the depth the other way round, then it's not giving me any. No, what? Like that. That's it. Turn that down a bit, and your partials. You can blend how much of that you want. Yeah. Also, I suppose I should assign that to also the sequencer, shouldn't I? Let's see what happens there. Otherwise we don't get the blipping, it just is a continuous tone. If I bring this in, I can change this to whatever I like, mess with these controls. It adds a little bit of tonal. If you want to, you could even change the waveform. It's a sine wave. You could change it with something else if you want. It's going up a bit high, that, isn't it? Anyway, if you got the option to blend that sound in if you want, I suppose, if you really want to. That's not absolutely required though. So anyway, there it is. And then what I did was, I've got that, and then I've got a drum fill with it. And then the actual riser itself, I reversed it, and then just had some of that. Like that. I need to get that right on the money, which is the snap is about the start of a. What's going on? It shouldn't drag the waveform there. Right. Stick that to ticks and just bring that in. I've forgotten the thing to snap the end of a region. Sorry. Then that's kicking in a bit early, so if I just bring that in and then fade it up like that, so it's doing that. And then I'll put a boomer effect in there, right on that. Now if I want that to go with the snare, is that note starting exactly the same point as that snare? Let me have a look. Yeah. Then I'd go back into my Alchemy, and I'd have to go to the sequencer and make those eighths to start with. Yeah, like that. And it goes into sixteenths about there, doesn't it? Yeah, like that. If I wanted to make this fast to go to 30 seconds, well, now, because I've changed it to 30 seconds, because to make eights, I put these four apart like that. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Actually, I don't think it's. Why is it on a star? 30 seconds. There you go. Then I'd have to do. There'll be eighths that far apart. Then that far apart, there'll be, with the gap in between, there'll be sixteenths because we're in 30 seconds. Where is that? Where do they come in? They come in at just there, but you don't see where that is on here. I need to bring this out longer now because we're on 30 seconds, so I'll bring this out so I've got plenty to work with. Shame you can't zoom this. This may not work very well. Let's just hear it. Make those all 16ths across there so I get a bit of context. Is it there? Yeah, and then it changes to 30 seconds further along. and that ends at about 65, so I can bring this end point into about 65. That should give me enough sequencer to cover the whole length of the note. Yeah, so you could, you know, could do it like that instead. If you want to go 30 seconds for the end bit, 30 seconds, and then it just means that these being 4 apart will be eighths. That's right, isn't it? 1, 2, tempo. Yeah, they'll be eighths. If they're 8 apart, they'll be quarters at 30 seconds. Yeah, so that matches the snare. And then you just, I'll put this in back to front as an extra riser that rises up at the end there. Where's me fade till? Just make that. You know what I mean? And bing bang bong. There you go. But the only thing is, it's I've forgotten what the thing is to snap the end of a region to you know, exactly to a bar line. To start, this one I can snap it to the start of that exactly, but the end, I've forgotten how to snap the end of a region to something. I've just forgotten what the command is. Anyone know? That will. There is a way. I've forgotten what it is though. Forgot. No, I've completely forgot. If anyone can remember what that is, to snap the end of a region, not the start to something, then just tell me, because I forgot. Anyway, in context now, that's just how you do that thing in Alchemy anyway with the sequencer. So here we go. Let's have all this in. By the way, if you want this to be a downer, like such a downer, man, then for the pitch here, make the depth that way. Which actually sounds quite good. Anyway, that's how you do that in Alchemy, son. Do you know what I mean? Sweet as a nut. Cast in stone, mate. Cast iron. On my life. Sorry. Just like at the moment with this lockdown, you've got to take any work you can get. So I've been painting the inside of this house with this bloke from London. He's like, proper fucking London, son. You know what I'm saying? So there's been Midlands, London banter all day long. Shut up, you northern twat. Bollocks, you cockney wanker. Do you know what I mean? It's been quite funny, actually. Anyway, there you go. That's how you do that. Hope that's useful. Let's have that boomer go out a bit more. Here we go. Yeah, Alchemy. And bear in mind, you can load guitar licks, little guitar loops or something into Alchemy like that, and mess with them and re-trigger them and stuff. You know, that's what that guy, he doesn't probably use Alchemy, but that guy, Kashmir, K-S-H-M-R, he does that with some stuff. Has guitar loops loaded into whatever synth he's using, Revenge or the REFX one. I can't remember. 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 I can't remember and manipulating the guitar loop, you know. Anyway, I hope that's useful. See you for the next one.